Imagine sitting with a family office leader, someone who carries not just wealth, but the weight of generations on their shoulders. The challenge and the burden is not just about preserving assets, it's about something far deeper. It's about how every decision, every investment, every risk ripples through time, shaping futures long after today is gone. The question that haunts these founders and investors is this: how do you measure the real return on investment when the horizon stretches beyond decades, beyond even centuries? When the success isn't just profit, but legacy, values, freedom, and impact that a family office must nurture through generations, what does it mean to think about ROI, return on investment, in that profoundly long human sense? This is not about numbers on a page. It is about survival, growth, rebellion, and the promise you make to those who come after you. The pain is real and often invisible. Too many family offices get stuck chasing the usual metrics, the immediate gains, the quarterly reports like they're chasing ghosts, disconnected from the true essence of their mission. They are swamped with complexity, fighting between legacy expectations and the fast-moving world that punishes the slow and the silent. They watch wealth erode quietly because the systems they trust were never built for what they truly want: to fuel the exceptional, not just to maintain the ordinary. The fight feels lonely. The pressure to protect, grow, and transform wealth for generations to come can weigh so heavily that it drains the fire out of even the strongest founder's spirit. Many feel trapped, stuck in patterns, held hostage by the illusion that preserving wealth means preserving status quo, and they know deep inside that this is a lie. But here's the brutal truth: legacy is not about clinging tighter. It's about cutting deeper, cutting through noise, fear, and outdated rules that suffocate the genius inside your family office strategy. To think about generational ROI is to think beyond money, and that's the revolution many fear but crave. It starts by realizing that time itself is your most precious asset. This isn't some vague philosophy. It's a ruthless fact backed by every breakthrough, successful family office out there. The moment you treat time like capital, your strategies shift. You stop chasing short-term gains because you see how quickly those can evaporate. You start building for resilience, building flexibility and innovation into your DNA. You invest in the kind of human capital that can adapt and thrive across economic storms and societal upheavals, because people, their values, and their leadership matter more than any asset class. One of the most overlooked secrets is how family offices that think generationally don't just invest in markets, they invest in mindsets. They understand that wealth is not about hoarding. It's about liberation. Liberating your family to be creators, not prisoners of past success. You must embed values so strong that they're immune to time's erosion. These values become the real ROI, the invisible foundation that keeps you going when the numbers falter. The trick is not to preserve wealth, but to preserve purpose. And then let that purpose shape every investment, every partnership, every shift in strategy. When your investment decisions are filtered through the lens of purpose, every step you take becomes more than an allocation of funds. It becomes an act of rebellion against mediocrity, a pledge of loyalty to future generations who deserve more than inherited wealth. They deserve inherited vision. This leads to a second game-changing insight. Generational ROI requires breaking free from the conventional. Family offices chained to traditional asset managers or investment formulas end up trapped in cycles of stagnation. The truly bold ones are experimenting with new models: impact investing, regenerative business models, decentralization, and even harnessing technology to create autonomous networks of value far beyond what legacy systems can deliver. They see opportunities in places where others see risk or chaos. They understand that surviving the next 50 years means connecting with a radically different future, one full of uncertainty, but also rich with possibility. Failure to embrace this shift is the quiet killer of family wealth and influence. When the world changes around you and you stay silent, you lose more than money, you lose identity. But don't be fooled. Embracing this new mindset doesn't mean abandoning prudence or discipline. The magic is in balance. You maintain rigor while injecting relentless creativity. The family office becomes a living organism, not a static vault. It flows, it learns, it adapts. It grows through intentional connections with exceptional minds outside the family, the so-called few who burn like you do. This is not a social club. It's a strategic alliance, a trusted network of visionaries who amplify one another's power by combining unique strengths. The rarity of these connections is their power. The more the family office builds this web, the more it transforms raw potential into kinetic impact. This is how generational ROI scales, not by adding more of the same, but by multiplying difference. Another powerful layer often missed is the willingness to fail forward. The world will punish those who only play safe, who never challenge assumptions or stretch limits. Family offices must reframe failure not as loss, but as a necessary step toward transformation. Each mistake is data, each setback a teacher. This mindset allows the family office to keep evolving alongside the families themselves, who are not static creatures but stories in motion. When leaders accept this, when they empower the next generation to innovate and disrupt instead of just inherit, generational ROI becomes a living legacy of courage and change, not just cold maintenance of capital. And here's the part that hits hardest. You cannot do this alone. The isolation many family office leaders feel is a silent epidemic. The rarest resource is not money. It is connection with peers who understand the weight and the fire you carry. This is why building a community, even a small, fiercely selective network, is crucial. It's a break from loneliness into shared power, a portal from misalignment to synergy. When family offices link arms with aligned visionaries, they unlock exponential potential. They ignite collective intelligence and resilience that multiplies every dollar, every strategy, every hope for the future. This network is a lifeline, a crucible for transformation, and the foundation for lasting impact. At the core, thinking about generational ROI in this way is an act of defiance. It defies the shallow metrics of society that say success is having more today. It defies the temptation to live a borrowed life or settle for safety. It defies the notion that legacy is what you inherit passively, that it must be fought for every day with fire in your belly and clarity in your vision. It means empowering generations to come not just with wealth, but with sovereignty over their futures. It means rejecting comfort in favor of courage, conformity in favor of creativity. It means taking the long view with relentless patience and fierce intent. This is where radical transformation lives. This is where family offices become not just money managers, but architects of the future. It's not easy. It will require unlearning the comfortable myths about wealth and control. It will demand questioning everything, holding fast to values while staying open to change. But the reward is a legacy that transcends time, a legacy that liberates the individual to lead, shape, and redefine reality itself. To those who step into this truth and dare to think this way, the journey is ruthless, but the victory is real. This is the way family offices can not just survive, but thrive through generations, not just pass on assets, but ignite purpose, not just accumulate wealth, but unleash transformation. This is how generational ROI becomes the most powerful investment on the planet, not just for balance sheets, but for the souls of those families who dare to demand more. The clock is ticking, but time is your ally if you choose to wield it with wisdom. Build with purpose, connect with courage, innovate with intention, and embrace the uncomfortable path. Generational ROI isn't a number. It's the fire that keeps the flame alive across centuries. This fire, once lit, can never be extinguished. It will burn paths for those who come after you to follow, to surpass, to remake the world anew.